Hello everyone, the 2016 anime spring season has just ended and it's time to appreciate the top 10 anime of that season. As always, I'm not going to include like leftovers, splickers, second season. The anime hadn't made its debut this season. With that out of the way, let's begin the top 10. Studio Trigger's Kiznaiva takes my number 10 spot. Unlike most other Trigger shows, Kiznaiva is not as wacky compared to those, but they did have an interesting concept to work with. When you have a show about characters feeling pain, when another feels pain, they all feel pain together. It creates an intense and interesting setting, as we don't simply learn about feeling each other's physical pain, but we also can feel and get closer when we start feeling someone's emotional pain. The story starts off slow, but it picks up later on. Number 9 goes to Joker Game. From the very start, Joker Game had a very interesting premise to work with. A show about spies going out and doing some espionage seems like a good idea at the time. Even though the show is episodic, it does highlight all the different scenarios that spies go on. It was very fun to see how spies can get away from certain situations, whether it be small or whether it be a major situation. It was fun seeing how they manipulate the people around them, and being set in the 1940s, it was nice to see that era. Oh, I'm sorry. Haven't you heard of my number 8 pick? It's Haven't You Heard, I'm Sakamoto. One of the funnier anime of the season, shines for having a cool sense of humor. Sakamoto is an anime about a high school boy who does things in an abundance of ridiculous ways which are cool, cooler, coolest. It's one of those shows you just turn off your brain and just laugh at the funny, ridiculous, off-the-walls thing that happened in the show. I also like how it wasn't a show just about one character, but it was more of a show about the characters around Sakamoto. And I love almost each and every skit in the show. At lucky number 7 is And You Thought There Is Never a Girl Online, or in short, Netoge. Rather than be an anime about the characters getting trapped in a video game or fantasy world, this anime is about characters just simply playing the game for fun. A story about a couple of friends playing games what I like for some fun, but it also touch on the theme that gaming online and reality is very different. As a group of friends try to help one of their members understand that. I like how it builds on the romantic relationship between the two main characters, and I like how it doesn't fall into the harem kind of anime, because with all those female characters around in the show, it could have easily done that. It was just one of the more entertaining shows for me. Missing out on my top 5 at number 6, from the creators of Attack on Titan, it is Carbonary of the Iron Fortress. The art and the animation is amazing this anime. They were able to make a post-apocalyptic world look so beautiful, which pushes the narrative and themes in the show. The action is amazing and the world building and concept was done very well. I simply just had fun enjoying watching how their steampunk shogun world worked. The story begins very well, giving us a sense of urgency and beauty in the world. I like how the characters were able to band together. It may be considered an Attack on Titan clone, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because Attack on Titan was pretty good. Number 5 goes to Takkun is Always Listless. I honestly thought I could get bored watching a guy be lazy and almost do nothing all day. Boy was I wrong. This anime makes use of his characters and creates smart scenarios where the characters can come up with ways to be listless. Of course he fails in most of his efforts because he has to put the extra effort to be lazy. I like how the characters around him interact with him and each other. They have great chemistry and make this show really fun to watch. It's one of those shows that is funny and it's really nice chill show to watch. Speaking of chill, sit back and relax and enjoy my number 4 pick, Flying Witch. By far the most relaxing anime of the season and one of the most chillest, light-hearted anime out there. Even though the show may have some supernatural themes in it, it is very subtle. The story is about a witch who moves to a country town to live as a normal girl. And I love how the characters all just get along so well and have some of the funniest, more relatable interactions to seeing some magic. Sure, not a lot of things happen in the anime, but if something did, it would just ruin the awesomeness, relaxed mood setting of this anime. The anime finds ways to be entertaining while giving us a relaxing setting and a light-hearted subtle story to go with it. Beginning my top 3 is My Hero Academia. In our current daily lives, superhero is one genre that is dominating the market. So how does My Hero Academia differ itself from the most others? Well, it's a bit about coming of age story for young superheroes. I like how they humanize each character, making it feel very realistic. Yes, the story is familiar and a bit cliche, but I love cliches and I love the underdog story and feel in this anime. It really reminds me of another popular anime. The action and animation is amazing, and knowing shonen shows, they tend to make their characters very likable. and they were in this one. It's just one of those shows that's just pure fun to watch, and it's great to have a character to cheer for, to see if he can become the hero he can. But it's also fun to watch other heroes in action as well, because they have so many different heroes. For my runner-up of the season, the honor goes to Bungo Stray Dog. This show really reminds me of another great show from last year. I love the supernatural detective agency kind of setting, and it creates for some interesting missions for the characters to go on. Speaking of the characters, they are all very fun to watch. I especially love the comedy and the action in this show. The animation is good to watch, and the comedy is a blast. I love the character interactions and the story in general in this show. I like how it's about character trying to improve himself while declining his fate, and trying to help out others so they don't wind up like him. I like how it has an ensemble cast of characters willing to go through hell to help one another in an interesting world and setting, and I can't wait for the second curve. And finally, for my favorite anime of the season, heck, I'm gonna give it an early call and say possibly of the year. It's ReZero, starting life in another world. This anime had won the best first impression of the season, and I love how the show is about first impressions. I love how this anime shows us something what we expect, but then completely flips over and shows something else, which is really interesting at the same time. This is just not your generic anime about a character getting transported into a fantasy world. It deals with the themes of trauma and emotional suffering one can go through in this world. The main character, Subaru, is one of the most well-written characters I have ever seen, and I love the characters around him. On top of having an amazing story and characters, it has great animation, and the soundtrack is amazing. Even though it's still going, it's still one of the best produced out of spring 2016, and I cannot wait to get into it more. Oh yeah, it's a time travel anime, but it's smart with its use of time travel. Well, that is it for my top 10 anime of spring 2016. I know there's a lot of animes I probably left out on the list because I cannot possibly watch everything. And please, if there's a favorite that you like, just leave it in the comments below. I want to know what your favorites were. Well, if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. Go watch another video. Subscribe if you want to. With that all said and done, it's time to begin the summer season very soon. Sayonara.